Hello, hello, it's Carrie, So Much Glitter. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I'm just kind of setting up the live stream and making sure that my orientation is correct. So if you guys want to go ahead and get your favorite drink, I do have a Poppy out, and it's the Cranberry Fizz. I really do enjoy these sodas, and I found them at Costco about a month ago. So I'm gonna go over a few crafty things. I'm going to try to see if I can find myself and give you guys a minute to sit back, relax, get your favorite snack, come and join me around the craft table. I know it's a really, really busy time right now, so we may just need some time to ourselves before the chaos sets in. And I found myself on my laptop. Okay. I think we can probably go ahead and get started. And then if you're watching the replay, you might just want to kind of fast forward through this little bit. Okay, I'm trying to get situated. So I've been up since early this morning. I did get, I finished my homework for 2025. So now I'm officially on break from school, which this will be my last break. I'm so, so excited. And when you guys just kind of jump in and you want to create along with me, just go ahead and say hi in the chat and let me know that you're here. And if you're watching the replay, please do comment what your favorite last minute gift is to make. I know we're kind of all at the end of a time crunch, and I did wait till the very last minute to get things going. Okay. I was trying to see on my laptop, and I'm not really able. It's not letting me see. Okay, so I'm going to do the best that I can. So anyway, so I'm officially on break for school, which is very, very nice. I'm officially on break for work, which is even better. I do try to take a little bit of time off every year for myself this time of year. I'm going to be having my mom come in. She flies in tomorrow, so that's very exciting. She's coming from the Seattle area, and I live in San Diego, so I know she was hoping to dry out, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like she's going to be bringing the rain with her over Christmas break. So it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and, take part in our, okay, now things are starting to pop up. Sorry. We're going to go ahead and take part of our traditions and, okay, so I'm going to start out with some last minute gift ideas. We're going to get into making a paper bag journal today. So if you wanted to grab some supplies, and then we can kind of create along. I do have supplies next to me that I'm going to be using. I tried to zoom out enough, and I tried to be zoomed in enough so you could kind of see what was going on. I don't have the biggest craft desk, so I do have my light colored cutting mat behind, which I find a little bit easier for you to see things on. Go ahead and get out a paper bag. I bought a pack of these at the Dollar Tree probably 2 years ago, and I just save them in my stash, and I love making the paper bag journals. But I also have some fun Christmas cards that I wanted to share with you guys. These are the Christmas cards that I made this year. You're right, I still have them here. I did not mail them out. I did not have time. Time got away from me. And so what I do is I have made a card box for my mom. I made that for her a few years ago, and then I tend to replenish that for her for Christmas every year. So I tend to make a set of cards here and there, and I did organize the box. I bought like a box at Michael's because I do go on clearance probably right after Christmas because of the whole organization of the new year. You could just get any box that you think your cards are going to fit in, and I kind of just like stack them in here. You could make a box. You could do whatever you want. But I normally get like a set of cards going. And what I like to do is I give them to her as gifts, and I will wrap a set of cards. And so what I'll do is what I mean by wrapping is I'll tie like a ribbon around it. And this is the ribbon that I just had on my desk, and kind of tie a fun ribbon around it, put it in a bag, put it in a box, and then that's a gift, right? And I'll do that for like birthday cards, Christmas cards, thank you cards. I do blank cards. This year, and most years, but this year specifically, I went to Trader Joe's and I did purchase some blank cards because their cards are only 99 cents, and you can't beat that, right? But I do like find cards that I like, that either look handmade or that really kind of resonate to me throughout the year. And I throw those in there too, because I want this to be just an all occasion card box. But the majority of everything I put in that box, I have string hanging, is homemade. So I did make them. So I'm going to kind of go through these. I made these cards out of vintage cards. I purchased a set, just like a gift little, like a grab bag, if you will. So these are blank. These are card blanks. From Marisa from Sweet Pea Curiosities, not last year, but like the year before. And these are all things that she's probably picked up at antique stores, thrift stores, flea markets, whatever. And they're already like, they're just old-fashioned cards, and they're already written in and things like that. And so I have a bunch of these. I love them because I love vintage card making. I love vintage journaling. I absolutely love all of these, and they're just very nostalgic. So I was very excited when I got these in, because I wasn't really sure when she said she had them. I was like, yeah, I would like that. And so she mailed them my way, and I really wasn't sure what they were or what I was going to be getting into. But this is what it was, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I didn't get to use them right away, but remember like when our grandparents, well, my age, like my grandparents and my grandparents-in-law used to make their own cards off their printer, and they would fold it like this. And just back in the past, most of the cards were like this, and just very, you know, I just love them. So I went ahead and made my own cards out of this card grab bag, if you will. And there's tons of them. Marisa stuffed this envelope, this like little package full, and she neatly wrapped it. I mean, I love Sweet Pea Curiosities, and she likes everything very vintagey, and her and I have very similar tastes. So if you want to go check her out on Etsy and Ko-fi, you can kind of get a feel for what she is doing. But yeah, so I just made cards out of these. These are the ones that I have left over. So this is my stack that's left over, and I made a really big stack of this. So that envelope was very well packed. So I was very, very excited, and I think I only paid like $10 or $15 from it. So if you want to go on our Etsy and find good finds like that. So I'm going to go through a few of these cards. These are going to be the cards that I meant to mail out. I did not have time, but I made them out of the cards, and I zhuzhed them up a little bit. Like this was from my Tim Holtz. This was from my Anna Griffin. And the background paper was from my Michaels paper pad for Christmas. I just kind of sat in front of the TV one Sunday a few weeks ago, and I thought, oh great, I have time to mail these out. And I did not mail them out, because I did not have time to mail them out. And I just made them, and I kind of, like this was the card, and I used my background paper and some of my own ephemera. And I just zhuzhed up the card. I added things, and some of these I didn't have to add anything. Like I really like this one. I just added the poinsettia, and I cut out the middle of the card. Like, you know, this comes from an Anna Griffin paper pack, and this is just some of my paper I had in the paper. And this was the card. Like, it kind of just speaks for itself, but I really like the nostalgia of it, and that is a really good card gift, and I think my recipient is going to love it. So that's just an idea for last minute Christmas gifts. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad to have you here today. And And another last minute Christmas gift I have is I love the coloring pages. I love adult coloring, and I tend to do this before work in the morning. I give myself like an extra hour, hour and a half when I can. And I'll color a coloring page. I did this at Halloween as well, and I'm going to be making my own coloring page journal. But I thought a really neat idea. Normally I like to ink up around here. I've done that before. I haven't gotten into that too much. I've just run out of time at the end of 2025. 2025 has been a very busy year for me, as I'm sure it has you too. So I'm really glad you're here, taking the time out with me today. But I do alcohol markers, and a lot of my alcohol markers are well loved, and a lot of them are starting to dry out, so I probably need another set, but I haven't really dove into that too far yet. So I just kind of zhuzh it up, and I use like glitter pens. I use, you know, a white gel pen. And what I really like to do is I color this in the book, and then I do tear them out because I do plan on doing something with them, is I put like a protective sheet in the back, and normally it's like a piece of cardstock or something, and then it bleeds out over, because as you can see it bleeds through. I do make something with that protective sheet. You can make a card background, things like that. I've done that here on my channel before if you want to check that out. So I just kind of like make the picture my own, and this is just my self-care time. Normally in the morning before I go to work. If I don't have time to do that, or I'm working too early, I do it at night. Now I do a lot of this when it's very dim lighting, because I am in bed drinking my tea, watching TV. Welcome. Thank you for joining. But I do a lot of the colored pencils, and so I don't get the Gamsol out when I'm in bed because I will spill it. So that's why it looks a little bit rough. So I would just need to go with the Gamsol and kind of smooth that out. But if you also need a last minute Christmas gift aside from the Christmas card gifts, you could create one of these. A lot of us have these books. They're at Barnes & Noble, they're on Amazon, they're everywhere. And you could ink up the background or create your own background, and you could frame this, and that would be a perfect gift. So there's another last minute gift for you. And I also wanted to share some fun journaling goodies that I received. I found this Found and Flowered subscription. I think I found it on TikTok. When I was scrolling through TikTok one day, it came through, and I did subscribe to it because I wanted to see what it was. And this is like an old-fashioned, it's just like a newspaper, right? But it's all geared towards junk journaling, and it describes it a whimsical activity newspaper for creative journaling. And it tells you the volume, edition, and directions. Cut me out. So I'm going to be making a fun journal with this, and this is seasonal. I just have not had a chance to do anything with this one, but this is the Winter Solstice 2025, and ironically today is winter solstice. So there's a lot that comes in here, and you can kind of read through here and then cut it apart and use it. So that's a really good gift for yourself as a creator if that's what you wanted to do. But it doesn't just come with this. It also comes with a bunch of goodies inside. So it comes with a bunch of junk journaling goodies that like we would be looking for in the thrift store, at the used bookstore, whatever. It gives you directions like for cutout ornaments. It just comes with a lot of fun stuff that you can use in your journaling. And so I kind of kept this all together, and I do want to create something with it. And just torn out book pages, things like that. And then she does personally write on the receipt, so that's nice. I didn't want to get into showing the address, but so if you want to look that up, that's Found and Flowered, and she's online. That's how I found her. I found her on TikTok, but then that's how I ordered is online. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into our last minute Christmas gift today. And you called it, it's another Wizard of Oz junk journal. So I'll briefly show you the one that I made for myself that I did not finish. But it's kind of in the process. And if you want to see a full flip through of this, you can go to, I do have a live under my live tab on here on YouTube. And I just did a bunch of fun things with it because I did go see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere in Vegas. I put a lot of fun pockets in it. And I do have somebody on my Christmas list that's also going to go do the same thing in the new year. So I thought how fun to do a mini version of my larger version, and then they can use that as a memory keepsake. So I'm going to keep this next to me because I'm going to take things out of it to use it today. My goal is to finish this journal on this live. I don't know if I have enough time, to be perfectly honest with you. I finished with the things that I needed to do for work and school, but now I have housekeeping things to do because I have company coming. So I'm going to spend as much time as I can with you here. We all need a little bit more relaxation time before everything starts happening, because we are the last Sunday before Christmas. But if you got out your paper bag, I'm going to kind of review how to put together a paper bag journal. What I do is, it's just a regular paper bag. I fold the paper bag in half, and then I will get out my bone folder because I want the crease to be a little bit more defined. I am going to be sewing in signatures here, so I'm not going to be creating a spine or anything. Just this is going to be the journal. Trust the process if you haven't seen this before. It's done a lot on YouTube. I've seen it. It's a real fun, easy journal, and this is how I got into junk journaling. Like, this was my first style of junk journal. And then I just decide how I want to open it. And let me see if I'm in frame here. I believe I am. Okay. So this is it. This is how I decide I want to open it. I want to use this as a little bit of a pocket. Sometimes I forget and I glue it shut. I also want to use this as a little bit of a pocket, and I always try to glue down here a little bit so the pocket doesn't go too deep. I don't think I'm going to do that today, because when I do that, the glue seeps up so far, it ends up being a really small pocket. So I'm going to take a really quick sip of my drink, and we can get to preparing the paper bag. The only thing I do to prepare the paper bag is what you're going to watch me do. And I do use the Line Co. Neutral P, what is this, PVA glue? Oh, it's permanent PVA adhesive. So this is a bookbinding glue. I really, really like this glue. It works as well as any of the other crafty glues that I've used in the past. This was like $8 on Amazon, and this, I'm not even gone through half of it, and I've had this for a year. So it's very cost effective. It's very sturdy. It's not permanent right away, but it does give you that strong, flexible hold, which I do like. So what I do is I do glue, and I haven't brought out my glue in a little bit, but I do glue the sides closed just to give it a little bit more stability. You don't have to do this. You could just really kind of throw your paper bag together how you want. And start creating, and that's not going to affect the integrity of the paper bag. So don't feel like everything I'm doing you have to do. I do this for extra stability and sturdiness, because I like to give these away, and so people are going to be flipping through them, using them. I want it to last, and like we always want our creations and our junk journals to last. I might be running out of glue in my glue press, which I did not prepare for, but I think I have some more. So for this part, I can just, because it comes out really thick, so. I tend to forget to do the basic things in my craft room to kind of keep it going, because I just want to come in here and create, and I don't always have time to like refill all the glue and make sure there's staples and this and that, and make sure my brushes are all clean, and I need to like schedule that separate time, I believe, but I don't always do that. Okay, and so now we just fold this shut. Now as we start building up our journal, it's gonna get very sturdy, so that's why I say you don't have to do those little things. I just choose to. What I do like to do is kind of measure everything out, and I have like a small little ruler. So what we're going to do, let's start with the cover, because I tend to forget the cover. So we're at 5.5 inches for the cover. And so that means all of these are going to be about 5.5 inches. Okay. So I do need to remember when I'm putting the pages in here, I want my pages not to be exactly 5.5 inches because I want to open and close it and we want to add a closure, things like that. Now I have this Wizard of Oz paper, which I did get some ink on this one, but I have this Wizard of Oz paper, and this is from paperhouseblog.com. And I did get this from QVC or HSN when there was a craft day. I think that's QVC, right? This was 3 years ago, I think I purchased this, but they tend to have this Paper House blog, because I've gone on their website to look before. They have licensed material, so that's really nice. You can go on Etsy. I have a few printables of different Wizard of Oz themed things, and I think I did with this, and that's what's kind of speaking to me now. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I really wanted the Yellow Brick Road to be the cover, and then we have the Emerald City to be the backing, because that's just kind of setting the tone for what's inside the journal. So I wanted to do that for this little one as well. Although not as much of the picture is going to get to go in that because it's only 5.5 inches and we only measured one way. I'm just realizing that. So we have 5.5, and I bet you it's going to be 5.5, right? It is. So it's 5.5 square. I just wanted to double check because once I get cutting, you never know. I did get a new paper trimmer delivered to me from Michaels because I had a lot of rewards vouchers, so I only ended up paying like $7 for this. And my cat did spill water on it. So this came with it's a scoring. It's also it's a paper trimmer. The black is the trimmer and the gray is the scoring blade. So, and it has the spring load right here as I'm knocking everything over. So I like it. I've used it a few times to make some card bases just to kind of get the feel for it. I really liked my other one as well. And I'm going to trim off the branding strip really quick right here. I did really like the other one. Oh, you know what? See, this is where, I don't know why I have both of these on. I'm going to take off the scoring blade. I think that was just for like when I was practicing with it. I really did like it, but I could not find replacement blades anywhere. I actually did find replacement blades on Amazon, and then when they were sent to me, they were different. They were the wrong ones to go in there, but that's like, I guess, their updated version. So I don't know how that was supposed to help that paper trimmer, but I still have it, but it needed new blades. So I purchased this. I only ended up paying, like I said, like $7. I think it was like $30, but you know, there's lots of sales and deals going on. So I want to get this part of Emerald City in the let's see how I want to do this. And I am not like an expert measurer, but I kind of want to cut it off here because I want to make sure that we're at 5.5. Oops. And let's see. So I'm just going to do the 5.5 right here. And I do have to kind of press it down a little bit because it does have it is spring loaded. And then we're going to do 5.5 this way. And I have to decide kind of how I want it. See, a lot's going to get cut off, but I really want the top part of this. And then I could use the bottom part as like a pocket or something. So that should fit. And this might be a little bit bigger because I measured it just a tad. Oh, I must have measured it like a lot bigger rather than a tad bigger. No, I measured it at 5.5. But it did, I think it just measured under 5.5, but I'm not going to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, what you could do is just glue it down. Honestly, you could just glue it down and trim it off. But I'm just going to put like a little mark right here, kind of up to the paper bag, so we know where we're going with that. And I'm going to trim this down, slide this off, and then we're going to have our front cover and our back cover. I do like, this was like my Fiskars. I had that little window to where I could see where the blade was going to cut. I do really like that with this as well. Okay, so we're going to open up like this. So this is going to be the back. And then that's what we're going to do. And the paper bag is going to show through. So just kind of a disclaimer there for you. Let's see. I'm going to cut off the branding strip. I'm really used to, it makes me feel like I'm using this wrong, but everything's right side for me. I'm really used to it flipping the other way, and I'm right-handed, so it's like this is almost geared towards left-handed, but it's fine. I'll get used to that too. Okay, so I'm just going to stick with my 5.5 measurements. That's what I am going to do, because I do not want to automatically trim this too short. And then I'll just trim it down like we did the other one. I want to trim this part just a little bit. And I do have to put some pressure on here for it to cut all the way through. So you just kind of have to get used to that. I know some paper trimmers, if you put too much pressure on it, you're ripping the paper. So, okay. I feel like I made too many cuts just now, so let's see how that worked out for me, huh? Working with 12 by 12 paper, cutting it down so small, you tend to have to cut it a little bit more. And I'm not a mathematician. I mean, my master's degree is not in math, science, or anything. I am studying neuroscience right now for psychology, so that's pretty interesting, and how that different things affect our brains, and it's been a lot. So I'm really excited that when I submitted my last assignment for the year, I was like, yay. Okay, so I did not trim this exactly where my pencil mark was, but that's okay. Okay. And like I said, you are going to be able to see some of the paper bag. That just is what it is, okay? So this is going to be the front. This is going to be the back, okay? And now we're going to glue that down while we're here. I tend to be a crafter that likes to craft in incomplete projects, not incomplete. I like to, I am going to need to get out my spatula to spread this, or else it's just going to go everywhere. And I have like a little Dollar Tree spatula that I have for just this sort of thing to spread. Just because I don't want it to seep out, because I do need to put more glue in my glue press. Okay, and this is all I use this for. Let's see. And like I said, you have a little bit of time to deal with this. Like, I know Art Glitter Glue you do as well. Barely Art, there's a few other. iCraft has a really good glue too. That's what I do like about all the liquid glues. You have a second to kind of play with it and finagle it to get it to where you need it to go. And I did get some glue on my arm, so I'm going to wipe that off. I tend to be a disaster in the craft room. Okay, so we have this, which I just realized I did do it backwards because I wanted this to be the front, because that's just how I've always done it. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. No one's going to know. So my pocket's just going to be here in the front, which I'm not mad at. And then there's just going to be a little pocket in the back. So what I will do is I will glue these up here. So let me see if my glue press can get enough of that glue out. And I'm just going to tuck these out because this just has a fine point. So that's why I like it. But it looks like I need to spend some time doing some maintenance in my craft room. I mean, we all got to do it, right? Okay. I'm glad you guys are here joining me today. I hope you're not feeling too overwhelmed with the holiday. I'm not going to worry about this little flap right here because I'm going to glue a piece of paper over it. Okay. I'm going to, so this is 3 inches. 3 by 5. So that's going to be easy enough for me to remember. One would assume, but who knows? I know this can be a really overwhelming time of year for a lot of people, and especially like this last push into Christmas, you know, like the kids are on break. You know, parents don't always get the breaks like the kids do, so that's stressful. I do remember those times. Shopping, I actually went to the movie yesterday because I'm celebrating my being on break. And I just wanted to take some time for myself. And so I went and saw The Housemaid. Really, really liked it. I read the book, loved the book. I'm thoroughly enjoying Frida McFadden books. So if you've not tried and you like some good thriller books with some twists and turns, I highly, highly suggest Frida McFadden. Really good movie. It did follow the book pretty closely, except I do have to say it did have a different ending, which was a little bit like, oh, but you know, you see where it was going, and you know, it wasn't thoroughly, I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, oh, darn, you know. So these are double-sided pages. I don't know if I have another one of these because I really like this and I wanted this to go in here, but I did get ink on it. But I think I'm going to be okay with that. Now, what I'm going to do is probably pretty unprecedented, but I'm not like the experts. I'm not an expert measurer. I have like glue strings all over a clip in front of me, and it keeps hanging and moving, and it's bothering me. I'm going to take off the branding strap. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. These journals come together fairly quickly. And if you're like not a perfectionist, and if you're like willing to go a little bit outside the box, they can go by a little bit quicker. I'm just going to fold this. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to fold this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time getting real fussy and measuring. Folding. Fold however you want. This is directional. This is the way I'm folding it. I'm going to cut this down to a 5 by 5 because I did say we wanted it a little bit smaller so it would fit in the book, okay? But I make sure that my crease, like where we're going to sew the signature in right here, I'm not going to cut that off. So I'm going, well, I don't actually have to. Let's do, like it's not 5 1/4, it's right after that. So see, I'm really good with words. Oh no, I want their faces, don't I? Oh, no, I do want their faces, so I have to be careful about where I'm doing that. Let's see. Okay, so we have like 5 1/3, I think that is. Okay. And then we're going to also want to cut this down to the same. See, I have that little line right here, and this is like a, it's notched in. So that is, I also really like, I did read the reviews and a lot of people really did like that. My paper will kind of butt up against that so it doesn't slip. I do like that. And then we're going to start just kind of keep trimming it down. Now I'm not throwing anything away next to me. So now see, I'm going to end up cutting most of the poppies off, which would normally really bother me. You can still see that there's poppies there. Don't get rid of this. We're going to use all of this. So I just kind of set everything aside, okay? And for a signature for this, and I think it's still a little bit long. it fits in there. Okay. I just thought it was going to be a little bit hanging off. I'm going to keep it that way. I just wanted to make sure that we could have whatever kind of closure we want. I'm probably just going to do a ribbon closure. Like I have a sparkly red ribbon one is what I'll do. I normally do like 6 to 8 pages for this. And I do want everything to be a little bit different. Not everything needs to be the same. So I'm going to kind of run through here, grab my pages, and then we're going to start cutting everything at the same time. So that'll make a little bit more sense. I do like this for the Queen of Hearts. I think that that's really cute. There's apples in here as well. I did get this at Michael's when these were $4.99. Highly suggest you, when you walk down their paper section and they have this stuff on the end cap or with their paper and it's on sale like that, I highly suggest you grab it. Because regularly it's like $14.99 or something. These aren't double-sided. I would not pay $14.99 for this, but this is really good cardstock, and this is a really good this is fun too. That's a lot of fun, huh? That might be a little bit fun and different in there. Oh, see the apples. I did want the apples because when I was at the Wizard of Oz, I did catch an apple. You could purchase these at the Sphere. I did not. We legit caught these. So that was a lot of fun. They just opened up the ceiling, and when she was shaking the apple tree, it started going through. I think I'm going to use this as the Queen of Hearts instead of the other paper I saw. Okay, so I have those. Which ones in here do I want to use? The Wizard Will Fix Everything. This could just be another one, and then I cut this down, right? So let's do that. So we have 3, 4. Okay, let's do a few more. We have to do, there's Dorothy. How fun, but we already have her. We have to do this. It's all about the shoes because, of course, when you go to a fun event like that, you need to go dressed as a theme. I love dressing as theme. That's just how I am. Not everybody loves it. My own daughter doesn't love it. So if that's not like your gig, you know, no worries. 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6, 7, 8. We'll try to do 3 more. I have this fun Mariposa. I think I got this at Joann's. It's DCWV. I really do think I got this at Joann's. I really miss Joann's. Like, I miss their paper. I miss their sales. I miss perusing through there. I miss their fabric. Yeah, that private equity really screwed things up, didn't they? And our Joann's, all of them are still vacant. Gosh dang, I just saw a thing where Soup Plantation may be coming back because it was created in San Diego in, what, the 60s? And all of our soup plantations are still empty too. So I'm like, oh, that would be fun. So what I'm going to do is probably just pick out another few sheets of this, and then we'll get down to cutting. And welcome and thank you for joining me. We're making a last minute gift of a paper bag journal for Wizard of Oz. Let's pick out a few more, just kind of fun and different ones. We probably want to get some of that foil in there to add some interest and something fun. This is really pretty as well. I really like that, so let's do that. I'm kind of ripping apart the book. Actually, let's do red. That would be fun because we have black picked out over there. Now let's see what we have. Set that off to the side. So we wanted to do 8 pages because I said about 8 pages will do. Now, if we're using different like tea-dyed paper, thinner paper, things like that, we could squeeze a little bit more in. All of this is cardstock. I think 8 pages is pushing it. So let's count how many pages we want in the signature. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If these don't all fit, we will be okay. So now I am just going to start folding. I'm not going to cut anything down. I'm just going to start folding because I'm not that picky about my my paper stash, because I have tons and tons of paper to last me a lifetime, and I am not going to stop buying it. So there's where we are with that. And then I'm going to cut it down to about a 5 1/3. Now, a lot of these papers are not double-sided, but that's okay, because that's what that's going to do, is that's going to give us more journaling space. That's going to give us more space for embellishments, for if our recipient wants to put pictures in there, things like that. And let's just kind of keep trucking along here. And before I cut off the branding strip here, so this branding strip kind of allows you to find the paper so you can buy it again, right? And sometimes it's fun. The branding strips are like different pages within the book, and you can use them. So that's a lot of fun too. I hope you guys are really able to take some self-care time out during the stressful time of year. And I have a few fun announcements that I think I'm going to do an announcement video actually. But I have my second video for Terry's Crafty Christmas collab coming, which is a lot of fun. I kind of want to check where I am on time. Not that like I'm answering to anybody's time today, but I just want to make sure I have enough time to get everything done. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer. You can score this with your bone folder. Like, you can cut it down however you want. I'm not going to. And I'm going to cut one page at a time. Okay, now we did the 5 1/3 right there, and that little notch in this cutting trimmer is really helpful. It just kind of sits there. I'm gonna throw everything in a pile over here. And like I said, I do have some fun announcements coming, so make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bells. But one thing I have already announced is that I am actively doing Terry's Crafty Christmas right now. On the 30th, my second video will come out. So you can go back to my other Terry's Crafty Christmas video. I'm going to cut off the branding strip now, right here, before I measure. And all the links will be there. There's a fun link tree. And that's been a lot of fun. A lot of talented creators and creators of the digital art are there. So I really didn't pay attention of what I wanted. What side of the page I wanted. So now I'm kind of trimming this. I'm customizing this one because I do want the shoes. And then of course it's all about the shoes. So that could actually be another page. It could be a pocket. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's do the 5 1/3. But I am doing a stream-a-thon New Year's Eve, December 31st. Raul with Raul Shorts is putting that together. There's lots and lots of talented creators in that collaboration as well, and that's going to be like a full 24 hours of non-stop streaming, and that's going to stream right here on my channel. So if you make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bells, and you'll be notified when I go live for that. That will be December 31st, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's what I'm going to be doing New Year's Eve afternoon. I think I want this portion of the paper. I just think that that's what I want. This is really cute too. See, so we're basically, with how we're cutting this down, we are making 2 paper bag junk journals. We are making 2 signatures, and then so this is like a twofer. So if you really do have a lot of last minute gifts that you want to put together, just remember that you don't have to go create like a whole other signatures and more pages from scratch. That we're already basically cutting this up. I will save this for a different journal, another paper bag journal. But anyway, so yeah, December 31st, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here, I will be doing the stream-a-thon. And that will be a lot of fun, and it's just going to roll right over into the next creator. And before now I do realize I'm cutting off a lot of this foil, but not all is lost because we can save these, right? These can be saved for that page or for another page. So just set those off to the side. Okay, so we have our pages for our signatures. And I'm going to have to measure them up because I don't think, oh, this one I did not trim down. So if you want to join me for that, that'll be fun on December 31st. And then we can kind of all create together. Ring in the new year, or before you guys go out for your New Year's festivities, you want to get some creative time in. I'm going to set this aside. And welcome. Thank you for joining. We're just kind of creating some last minute some Christmas gifts and taking part in some self-care today. And if you want to do, see, some of these I did cut a little bit bigger. If you want to do like the rewatch, the replay, we went through some ideas for Christmas cards and Christmas gifts. Okay. So we want to start off the journal with what it basically is, right? This is going to be a Wizard of Oz journal. We already can probably tell that from the cover and the backing. So we kind of just want to scatter this stuff in throughout the journal. But I wanted the first page to be like, this is what it is. So that's where we are. And we're going to have a middle in here. I don't normally pay attention to what is the middle and what is not the middle. You can if you want, but I have so much paper over here and so much other waste that I don't think that that needs to be the focal point. I might have cut too many pages because all of this is, I don't know if my needle's going to go through here, but let's try it. What I could do is I could just sew, which is what I might do. I could sew this as a signature because that is, we said 8, right? Now I may have doubled my money here. 1, 2, 3. No, it's 8. Okay. I could sew this in, and I do have some elastic, and then what I can do is make it more of a flow journal. So this would be sewn in, my signature would be sewn in, and then this would be elastic in. So if the recipient wants to put more in here, they could. Or what I could do is I could make this into 2 signatures, which I think is what I'm going to have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what that's going to allow me to do is that's going to allow me to do another signature here. Okay. And so it'll be 2 signatures inside of a flow journal. You can always do that too. We're not like married to in journaling. We're not like married to that decision. We can kind of change things up how it fits our creative taste. Oh, so let's see. Okay, so I think that's going to be good enough. As I'm just chit-chatting and not really paying attention. Okay, so there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my needle and thread. And that is right next to me. So let me grab that. I do not have a BRB sign, but no worries. Because I didn't really go anywhere, and I have my bag with my needle and my thread, and then I do have the elastic. So I have a white, and then I have a black. Probably white will be good. I'm not really sure, but now I need to decide what color. And I have my awl, don't forget to take that out. What color thread do I want to use? I have like a real neutral. more of a craft, and I have like another like version of neutral. If I had a red would be a lot of fun, but I don't. I have a rainbow one, but I'm not going to do that either. My bag does say naughty words on it, so my apologies. It's a little bit of our sarcastic bag that my friend bought me a few years ago, and this is what I use it for. I really like it. So there's that. If I go with neutral, I'm probably going to want to go with white elastic. So this doesn't need to be like too big of a decision here, but I'm going to go with the middle neutral one since I'm using white elastic, and that's just going to match. So this is the cover. Excuse me. This is the journal. The things that are going to go inside is what's going to make up the journal, right? Okay. So now that little pesky thread that had been bothering me, I want to get out my clips to clip it down the best I can. I could really go kind of, this isn't going to move a whole lot, but I really sometimes like, let's just clip it all down because we don't want it to move anywhere. We want our pages to stay the same. That's more imperative when we are sewing it into the journal, by the way. But I don't measure. You can measure if you want. This, I could do a three-hole pamphlet stitch if I want. That's what I'm used to doing, so that's probably what I will do, and then I'll tie a bow in here, or I could just do 2. You could do 3, you could do 2, you decide. This is your project. I do not want to do this hole on the bottom too close to the top because it will rip because it is paper, excuse me. And then I'm going to get out my needle. I always use my biggest needle because it's easiest for me to thread. And generally, rule of thumb is you do 3 lengths, the size of the journal. Okay, I always do a little bit more. I do 4 because it takes me a little bit to tie that bow, if that makes any sense. Because I kind of do like a bow. You could do a knot, you could do a bow, you could do it how you want. Okay, so here we are. And then just thread it through. I just thread it through, oops, once. One thing with these clips, I did get them at the Dollar Tree. You kind of have to watch out because of the top. They do get kind of hooked up. So you kind of have to watch. Okay, so where I start is where I'm going to end. So because I already committed in my mind that I want to do the, I want to try to do the bow inside. Okay. That didn't seem even to me. Okay. And so now I'm just going to go down. If you can see, I'm trying to check that I'm in frame, and I'm just going to pull a little bit more of what I'm going to need, and then I'm going to loop it up. And this is real just basic pamphlet stitching. This is easiest for me. So now we can see this. You don't have to do it this way. With this small of signature, I could have stapled it. Okay, and I try to get it as taut as I can. And then I use my journal cutting scissors. And there we go. And then I try to do the best I can to do a bow. And sometimes my clumsy fingers do not allow a real tight bow. So I do it twice. This is why I do the length of 4, okay? And then there we go. Now with this thin of a signature, I don't have to do all these clips if I don't want to. If I was to have done all 8 of these, I would have, yes, because I really would want to keep them intact, in line. But for this, I don't have to. I just didn't think, I think I was going to struggle with 8 of them, which is, that's fine. But now, so we're making this a flow journal. Okay, and I'm going to do my lengths again. All the junk journal experts are going to tell you 3 lengths is fine. I do 4. You do what works for you. You're going to kind of have to try that a few times. You're going to have to fail a few times before you're like, okay, this is what I need to do. And that's how we figure things out in crafting. Nothing's ever going to be perfect the first time. Remember all the pictures that people post on Instagram and whatever, that's the finished final project. We did not see the process. And the process might have been a little bit of a struggle, or, you know, maybe that wasn't the first try of that project. Things like that. We kind of have to remember that there's a whole process to crafting, and everybody has a different creative process, and yours isn't more wrong or more right compared to others. And then we're just going to stick this right through. Remember, where I start is where I'm going to finish. And I try to make this as taut as possible without pulling too much of this through, because I want to tie that bow. And there we go. Okay, now I'm going to pull that tight, but now we still have one little unfinished business right here. Going to come right back into the middle. I started on the inside, I'm ending on the inside. Okay, and I'm going to pull that as tight as I can. And this cardstock, I mean, you're going to have to pull pretty tight to rip it all. So don't be too, you don't have to be too careful. You want to get it tied, and you want to get it tight, but you don't want to rip it, kind of thing. Okay. And it's right on through here. And then that's how I like to do it. So now I have 2 signatures. Okay. And they're just going to go back to back in here like this. So this is going to make this more of a gator mouth. So, and then this is going to stick out a little bit. I'm not worried about that. I was going to say gluing, because I need to glue this down a little bit more. As you get going, you kind of realize like, oh, I need to glue more. I'm not going to be poking anything through here, but the elastic is going to go around here. Sometimes on my journals, I really do like to do a fabric spine, because that reinforces it. I don't know if I'll need to do that on this. This is, just remember, a paper bag journal. Like, this isn't going to be a book journal or anything like that. So I'm going to put away my things before I forget. I really, really like this. I do not lose my needles that way. I did get that on Amazon. I need to put my awl away so we don't get hurt with that. Now we get to do the fun part, and that is the decorating. But first, I need 2 more pages. So I could just do the whole 5.5 thing right here, cover this up, and this, nobody's the wiser. You could do that. But I did kind of make this a pocket right here. And so I'm going to go over to my scraps that I have on the side and decide what I want to do with this. And then we have, it's all about the shoes probably. And I'm going to have to cut this down. I do realize that. But that's what I'm going to do, because I do want it to be, it's all about the shoes, because of course, oops, I have something blocking me. It's all about the shoes. Okay. So first, to save myself a little bit of aggravation, right here where I folded it, that's where I'm going to cut it. It just saves myself a little bit. Let's do the whole 5 1/3. Right there in that notch. It's okay. It doesn't say it's all about the shoes. The recipient's going to kind of understand where we were going with that, right? And I want to fold this in to make sure it's going to fit. And then I'm going to glue this down. And then back here is still going to be the pocket, because I'm not gluing anything shut. If you don't want that to be the pocket, you don't have to. If that is just too much extra mess for you, I completely understand. Now remember, my glue press is out of glue, and I did not take time to refill it. So I'm doing things the hard way today, but that's okay. I do have a little bit of that wiggle room. a little bit of that extra time. And then I'm gonna kind of carry on. Now see, I didn't put that on there perfectly straight. It was actually fairly crooked. That wet glue gave me that time to kind of mess with it like that. Okay, I'm gonna close this so I know it closes. And I'm gonna put the pressure on here. I'm not getting any glue all over myself. Here we are. Okay, and we still have the pocket, so whatever we want to put down there. And remember, I didn't glue any of this down here, and I normally do that, but then when I do that, I find myself like I'm kind of putting myself in a position to where I can't fit what I want to fit in there. Now remember, I wanted to get more of this in here. So that's what I'm going to do on this little side pocket. And that's just my preference. That's what I'm going to do. And that was a 3 by 5, but let's double check my memory here. 3 by 5. There we go. I always have to check my memory. Okay. I'm going to, because I don't remember a whole lot. I have so much going on in my brain. that happens. Okay. So we have 3 wide. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got it down, and I have to press this down a little bit, by 5. And I do want to make sure I get the poppy in there. And I'm not going to be so finicky about the butterfly. Well, to me, that's going to read poppy. Okay. I could have made this bigger, but the paper bag part is what's going to be, that's going to be the border. So my measuring is always just a little bit off. Oops. That's okay. I'm not the perfect expert crafter. I'm here to inspire you to do some self-care. And oops, I'm getting glue all over my new board. And to just kind of let creativity flow, right? Let it flow. And we have a little bit of a border, and then this is the pocket. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to spend a little bit of time measuring this right here. And when you are putting glue down out of the big bottle, and you can see that like the hole is really big, it's going to warp your paper a little bit more. So you need to spend a little bit more time manipulating it and making sure it's down. But normally when I do glue out of my glue press, not an issue. That's just my thing. Okay, so we have just a little over 2 by 5. Okay, so actually we'll go right there. I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to do 2 by 5 right there. Okay, so we have all of this extra stuff. We could do the Queen of Hearts or the apple, which would be fun. The Queen of Hearts is actually Alice in Wonderland now. I just realized that. But she's in here. It's a crossover. Oh well. I don't know that that's going to get picked up on to the recipient, but I just realized that. I was like, wait, that is okay. I actually do have another paper pad that was sitting under this paper pad. It's a dark Alice in Wonderland that I bought at Halloween time at Michael's, so whatever. I just realized that. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. 2 by 5. Well, good thing I didn't really play up on that whole Queen of Hearts thing in this Wizard of Oz journal, or else I would have been, that's when I would have been caught. Christmas Day, somebody's going to be like, wait. That's the wrong movie. So it just happened once in the journal. Probably won't get picked up on. It's okay. Okay. This I may not spread out as much. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of clean it off. And if you don't like the paper bag being shown, you can like butt everything up to the edge, and you know, you do you, but this is a paper bag journal and I'm just using that as kind of the frame. And it's amazing what we can kind of make into crafty supplies, right? Or crafty creations we can use as crafty supplies. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. Our journal is made. If you want to end here and you want to be done, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay. I don't want to end here. I do want to decorate a little bit. Let's kind of see where we are at with time. I think I have a little bit more time. I'm just going to kind of keep decorating through. And if you guys like want to introduce yourselves and you're watching the replay, thank you for joining me. And remember to put in the chat, what is your favorite last minute gift to create? Okay, so now we get into the good stuff. Now we get into zhuzhing it up. I'm going to put all of this other stuff aside. I have a whole set of paper discards over here that I'm not going to throw away. This will basically make a whole nother paper bag journal. Okay. That's going to go off to the side. I have my elastic for when I want to tie that in. And I'm probably just going to tie it in the same way that I tied these in. And then I might like dangle some beads off of it or something. So I don't know where I want to go with that yet. But I do know I have some fun stickers, pockets, like whatever we want to do. There's plenty. This pocket might be too big. I do have a printable. Let's get this out from, I believe this is Petals and Parchment. She has a, Elizabeth has a Wizard of Oz kit. I did not scale any of this down. I could have. But I just think that this will be fun to put in the journal. And then I have things, my memorabilia from when I went to the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere is my bag where my merch went in. I'm not going to put that in this journal because that's going to go in my journal. That's my memory. My tag for my shirt that I purchased, I did cover that up. We're going to put like a fun little ribbon in there, and I'll probably do some of that on my streamathon on New Year's Eve. So if you want to see that finished up, I'm going to cut down some things because this is a paper bag journal, so this one is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to cut down some things to go into this journal, right? We want to make some pockets. We want to do some fun things. Okay, so like I said, these are bags that I purchased on Amazon, and it's like its own little pocket. And I know these are too big for the, but you know, since Queen of Hearts is not Wizard of Oz, it is Alice in Wonderland. I think I'm just going to cut this down a little bit and make like this a page pocket just to kind of hide my little mistake. Like I said, I don't think it's going to get noticed, but that's what I'm going to do. I could be here decorating for hours, and let's be honest, as creators, that's right, that's what we do. So the bulk of this journal is put together. How you want to go on creating it is completely up to you. If you want to leave it, I'm trying to grab my discards over here. I'm sorry, they were falling. If you want to leave it the way it is and let them decorate it, you could do that as well. The person that's getting this doesn't isn't crafty. She doesn't decorate. So I'm going to try to kind of zhuzh it up as much as I can. But I could spend hours doing this, and I actually might throw on a Christmas movie a little bit later this evening and finish decorating it. And then it will take that long for my my video to load, but I want to start decorating it with you. So if you've never done one of these, I can hopefully inspire you a little bit. I do need to measure this off to the side. So this is going to be like 4.75 by 3, okay? How did I do that? Okay, hold on. 4.75 long, okay. And 3 wide, so I get 4.75 there. I think that's about where we want it. By 3. And we'll kind of cut it right there. But like this, oops, I took the wrong one. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is just make that a little bit of a frame, because I was gonna say, if my measurements are off at all and this isn't exactly right, we're gonna want to frame it up a little bit. And then that part of the paper bag pocket and the paper bag journal is going to be framed a little bit, which I'm not mad at that. Like, that's fine, right? We are fine with that. Okay. So let's get to that. Now, does anybody like books? Like, are you like a book person at all? I'm like into books. I find that most crafters are readers as well. What you reading? I am reading Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal right now. It's a little bit spicy. I would give it a 2 on the spicy chili. I would give it 2 spicy chilies. It's not allspice. That's why I'm only giving it a 2, because it's descriptive spice. But it fits in with what's going on, and that's not the whole focus. It's really good. It's a Megan Quinn book. I really, really like it. I've never read Megan Quinn before, and this is my first time reading her. Okay, so this is just me, so I consciously do not glue that shut. I'm sticking something in the back of there because I will probably just glue it shut. Now here's me being difficult again, because I did not fill up my my glue press like I should have, like a good crafter in the craft journal. And then we're just gonna kind of hide that the Queen of Hearts is in the wrong journal here. Anyway, so I'm reading Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal right now. I love it. I normally like I said, Frida McFadden. I like the thriller type mysteries. Really like those. Not a big love story, rom-com girly for books at all. I love Hallmark movies. I love Lifetime movies. I do like all of that. But yeah, I'm normally just like not that big into that. I'm going to trim this down so this person knows that this is a pocket, and I'm going to staple it. And the staples I have right now are green. So that's just like, so it's like a little bit of a bookmark and a tuck spot. You know, they can slide in and out of. So that's here, so they can tuck what they want in and out. I just wanted them to know that. So that kind of signals to them. Anyway, so I really like it. And it's lots of Home Alone Easter eggs, lots of fun stuff like that. So that's exciting. I'm going to use this, and we're just going to use this as a little tuck spot. So see, now we start using all of our I think I squeezed that out too much. We start using all of our scraps. I tell you, if I'm not like doing schoolwork, counseling a client, working and assisting and training somebody. Words, or I lose them. They go away. So I read. So I remember the words. And I like to be entertained, and I don't like to always be entertained on the internet and the phone and, you know, the TV. So that's just going to slide right on in and out of there. Okay. And I'm going to leave that so they can tuck whatever they want in and out. And we're just going to kind of keep moving along. Now here we have this. It's a blank page. I have this stamp I'm going to use. This actually is a Wizard of Oz stamp, if you can read very closely. I purchased this at Michael's when their stamps were like 50% off. I think last year is when I purchased it. I'm just going to be semi-diligent about inking this up. It doesn't matter how dark or light it is. I probably should have done actually a gray ink. And then I'm just going to do a second generation stamping right next to it, and I'll press a little bit harder on that one. And there we go. So they can kind of do what they want with that. I have a paper clip. I have fun little metallic paper clips that I like to use. I wish I had red. That would be fun. I have a green, so we'll do that. And then I'll just stick that right up here. So they can put a picture there, kind of whatever they want. And let's kind of bring out some fun stickers that we have. There's no place like home. I think that's fun. Follow your own path. Only bad witches are ugly. It's the friends we meet along the way that help us appreciate the journey. So this person is going with a friend. And I'm just going to put this right on the top. Okay, and then there is their pocket, and then here's to signal. You can stick something in here, tickets, whatever they want. So we have another little bit of a blank spot. I do have a stencil that I brought out just for this occasion. And I'm probably just going to, this stencil's a little bit dirty. Because I just don't think I washed it off. Like I did wash it off, but it's a little bit like it's loved. So I'm just going to get out a fun ink for that. And I'm probably not going to do like different colors with it, but I have like Kiddish Flamingo. Kiddish Flamingo is probably going to be a little bit too bright for that. So let's have Stormy Sky. There's that, which that might be a little bit fun because, you know, Dorothy did get caught up in the tornado there. I wanted to have it go into some sort of color. Oh, maybe it's over here. I was like, I had a sponge. Here it is. I had a sponge sugar, so let's do that because that's really light. And so we'll start with the Stormy Sky. And I'm just going to hold this down and hope for the best, okay? That's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to take a pretty light hand. Okay. And then I'm going to get my purple pink. Ink that up. And inkity dink away. And then that's how it's going to look. I don't think I cleaned off that stencil very well the last time I used it, so I'm gonna have to. Oh, and I smeared it. Isn't that nice? That's very nice that I did that. Let's make a pocket. Why not? Kind of just, I would like a pocket. Do this. And that's just where I'm going to make a pocket. Okay. And then I'm going to get Brave and just trim this down. And that's going to be our pocket, so then we cover up my little mistake. And I'm just going to assume that I cut that straight. Who knows? I'm probably just going to dot, not a lot right here. Okay. See, now making these homemade gifts isn't so difficult, right? We can kind of make it as complicated or as simple as we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish decorating this signature. I'm going to put the elastic in it, and then I'm going to decorate the other signature probably off camera. I do want to get some of my baking started. And so there's a pocket. We're just going to leave this here so she can like put pictures down, whatever she wants to do. Now we have the whole middle section, right? I was like, I normally don't pay a whole lot of attention to where my middle section is, but here's the middle section. And normally I like the middle section to speak loudly. I want it to make a statement. You're in the middle, like this is fun, this is pretty. Actually, I just looked to the side. This is the first paper bag journal I ever made. And this was for my grandson for his first year of life. Yes, I do realize he's over a year old, but Mom and Dad didn't put pictures in here and they gave it back to me to have me put the pictures in here. And so I need to do that. And so there's that. They will be getting that back. I made this just as big and thick as I could, and yeah, I really do enjoy making those. So this is where some of the fun things can come into play, right? I'm gonna cut this, the yellow brick road, because that's right in the middle. I'm just gonna fussy cut this around. Probably going to put some stickers in there. I have some like tea-dyed paper that we could ink up if we don't like all the white space. If you've been watching me for a little bit, you may know I don't like a bunch of white space just floating around. I don't mind a white border here and there, but a lot of white space kind of bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference. If you like all that white space and it's real like clean, spacious, crafting space, journaling space for that person that you're giving this to, you know, you do you. I just know that the person I'm giving this to isn't going to journal. She doesn't journal, but she does like pictures and things like that. So, and this is a fun little, and I'm just going to make that like a flap. Like they can put whatever they want in there. I'm just making it a little tuck spot. I'm not gluing up the sides or anything to make this a pocket. We're just making this a little bit of a tuck spot. So like they could put like a picture, a receipt, or, you know, I don't know. She does like to play the slots, and so maybe she's going to win big on the Wizard of Oz slot, and she wants to put her winning receipt. I don't know. You know, you never know. Whatever. So we want that, and let's do something fun in the middle here. Some of these fun. Let's put her down here. These are a little bit older. Like I said, I did purchase these a few years ago, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. It's just going to kind of help reinforce it. And then I want her flying monkey up here. So just tad bit. Let's put the flying monkey all the way up there. There we go. And that's gonna kind of be in the middle. Let's do maybe like another little tuck spot down here. This might be a lot of fun for tuck spots. Honestly, I can't really tell what some of these are. Like, I know that this is the Scarecrow, so let's do that one. This is like the original children's book, Wizard of Oz ephemera. So a lot of them are hard to make out because it's not the creator, because Elizabeth is a really talented creator. I was on her design team for a long time. I really liked working with her. But just because this book is so old. So I'm just going to kind of line the bottom, and she can tuck whatever she wants in here. And then what I'm going to do is just trim it down right in the middle. So we could ink it up if we want. I'm not going to get that fussy. Ah, that's a lot of glue. So I'm going to get out my little towel, and then I'm just going to glue this down. Now, like I said, I have a few announcements coming up, but I did announce that I'm going to be doing the Raoul's Streamathon December 31st from 3 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See, let's just go right in there, right? Oh, so that went a little bit. Like that went a little bit below there. I'll cut that because that's a little, it's hanging off just a little bit too much. And then I have a few other like design team announcements. It looks a little bit crooked now, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's just a little bit of a fun little spot where she can put things in and out of, like a picture, a note. She could write like a memory on the back of this, which is some fun little spots for it to go in. I'm going to put this up on the top. I'm not going to ink it. Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any announcements. And on the 30th, I do have my second and my final video for Terry's Crafty Christmas. It's my collaboration video, and I'm going to be doing I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to be doing because I don't really know for sure, but I am going to be creating with a creator that I'm going to be working with a lot more in 2026, so that's exciting. So I'm just going to kind of leave this. It does bother me just a little bit that we do have all of this white space over here. I'm going to clean off my brush, and that's all I'm doing. There we go. So a picture could go there, whatever. Okay. Now we have like another white space here. I'm just going to use, now we're like 3rd generation stamping, but I'm going to use whatever ink is left on here. And that's going to be that way. And I'm going to leave it like that because if she has a picture or something that she maybe wants to put there, I'm just going to put these little friends up there, and that's going to be that. And then let's do another little, oops, purple popped out. That's what purple is happening. We couldn't get away from the mistake completely. Now I have to be a little bit mindful because I have this right here and I don't want this to be coming in and out. So she could clip pictures to both sides. I'm just going to leave this as is. This one I'm not going to leave as is. What else do we want to put there? What else? What else? Let's see. We have the witch's hat. That might be a lot of fun. Now I have a whole nother signature to decorate, and I am going to be doing that later today. Probably just on my own, and I will do a flip through of that. So you don't want to miss out on that. I'll be doing probably a flip through of that on my Instagram stories, as well as like a little flip through post here on YouTube, because that's where that's where the live is going. It's going to take a little bit for this live to upload, because this is a pretty long live. So this live probably isn't going to be ready to go on my channel as a replay until later this evening anyway. So that's fine. And I just kind of bubble cut it. I tried. I'm going to make that another little tuck spot. And then we're going to do the elastic so I can show you that. And, oh, I'm taking everything with me. I was looking for my little microfiber rag. See, so you can tuck something right up there. A picture, perhaps. A receipt, something memorable. Let's see. Let's do that. There's no place like home down here. Right in the middle. Oops. My gluey hands are getting everywhere. And again, I'm just going to clean off my brush a little bit. I'm not inking anything up, newly ink or anything like that. I just kind of I just want to knock back that white space just a little bit. Okay. So there we go. And then we're going to kind of let this speak for itself. And now we have this signature that we would still want to decorate, right? So I'm still going to, this is the first signature. This is how I wanted it. Okay. Where's the journal now? Oops, I found it under my pile over here. So here's the journal. Here's the first signature. We're going to do a quick flip through. This is a pocket. I'm not going to put something in every pocket. She's going to, I'll let her know that there's pockets and things like that. She'll know because I've made her things before. And then I did go ahead and staple that. So this is a deep pocket. This whole thing is a pocket. And then we have a pocket here. And then we have our middle. We can stick something there. And we have this. And that might need to be clipped actually, because she is kind of going every which way because I did not secure the bottom of it because I wanted her to be able to put things in it. But now this is why I kind of do like an extra little flip through, just to show like, hey, let's see what we've accomplished. Plus, like, what else, like, what do I need to improve? There we go. So that just tucks her in there a little bit more securely. Okay. And then we'll keep flipping through the signature. There we go. And then so our first signature is done. Now we just have this little bit of signature. You know what? I was going to say I'm going to do this off camera. I'm not. I'm going to do it now. Let's just finish it now. This is going to be an extra long live, but you know what? I'm not worried about it because this is such a small signature compared to this one that there's not as much to do. So I'm going to trim this out the best I can because I really like this ephemera. I think this is neat. I am not, however, going to trim out the middle. I'm going to probably ink around it. I'll ink this up. I probably even have like a red I could ink it up with. So these could be as intricate, as simple, as complicated, as plain as you want them. Like making the journal and putting the thought into the gift is gonna be appreciated, right? I know this person's going to appreciate this. I make this person stuff all the time. I'm just going to tell you now because even if she is watching, but I'm making this for like the Christmas cards we were doing. So I am making this for my mom because if she's watching, she's going to know it's for her anyway. So there's that. But what we're going to do is going to put this probably as a tuck spot, but I don't like all of this white space right here. So I am just going to knock this back a little bit. And again, I'm just cleaning off my brush. No biggie. And then I'm just going to kind of hide my little imperfection cuts around it. So you kind of have to know your audience is what my point was when you're making a gift for somebody. Like, who is it going to? Do you think they'll appreciate it? Do you think not? I'm going to put this right here. I know the color scheme isn't perfect, but you know what? It stands out right there. So that's what I'm going to do. And again, this is just going to be another little tuck spot. So she can tuck like a picture in there, a receipt, little memorabilia from her trip, whatever. And then I always have this handy dandy microfiber cloth next to me because I'm messy. Okay, that one I'll leave there. So we could just, she could put anything she wants there. Now again, we don't want this so stark white, right? I want to use some of the fun imagery from the sticker from the set that I have. And let's go ahead and do Dorothy. See, okay, yeah. I was like, I've had these stickers for so long. And I'm just going to stick her like right in the middle and probably do just like a little fun border on the bottom. This is fun. And then she can decorate it around it as she wants to. And again, I'm not a fan of the white space. Actually, I think my brush is pretty clean now. I am going to 4th generation stamp it now. So it just kind of provides a little bit of, there we go. This kind of gives the story in there of the Wizard of Oz, and that's just a fun little page. Okay. The wizard will fix everything, right? So I do have a green paper clip that I'm going to put up here. And now this is our middle on this signature, because our middle over here on this signature was this, and it was just all about the white space, and I kind of zhuzhed that up a little bit. This is all about the blue space. So I have a lot of these stickers still. I have a lot that I haven't used that came in this kit. That's one reason why I do like to shop the craft day. It's fun. I have the ruby red slippers. I'm going to put these just kind of as decoration around the page. This is more of like a washi tape sticker. So if you're doing it on white or like a neutral color paper, it's not going to stand out as much. And I figured that out when I was making my journal. So this is good that it's going on the blue paper. Okay, there we go. We're almost finished with our paper bag journal and our last minute gift. Okay, so what else would, you know, we have not used Galinda, the Good Witch. We have not used her yet. I'm just going to put her right down here in the middle. I do want another pocket in here or a tuck spot. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this ephemera out from Petals and Parchment, and that's going to be just a fun little tag tuck spot. And we could get, there's a hole right there, I could hole punch and I could do a string or a ribbon through there. I have some ephemera sitting next to me, and I think I have a red jewel. I actually think it's sitting on top, so I wouldn't even have to go digging for it, and that's what I'm going to put there. And I'm going to try my best to make this a smooth cut. That's why I like to use these big scissors. And don't forget to say hello in the comments and let us know what is your favorite last minute gift to make. We went over some ideas at the beginning of the video. I'm making my last minute gift right now, which is a paper bag journal. And I'm just going to make this like a little tuck spot as well. So I'm only going to be putting glue down on the bottom. I do normally use my glue press, ran out of glue in it. I need to get a little bit more prepared for, oops, see, with the wet glue, like I moved it, but I have time. Oh my goodness. I don't have as much time as I'm testing though. Okay, because I was thinking about this stuff. Oh, I don't have red. Oh no. I really thought I did. Okay. No, I want a red. Okay, hold on. It's right next to me. And I have this box. My art bin. Oh, here it is. I have a red one. I knew I had one and I could see it, but I thought it was sitting on top. But it's not. And these are older, so what I'm going to do is just do a dot of glue. You don't have to do that. You know, that's just me, because this is going to travel. This is going to be open and closed. So there we go. And then this is just a fun tuck spot. Okay. And then I am going to put another clip right there, so she can clip in as many pictures as she wants, notes, receipts, memorabilia, whatever that may be. I'm just going to tap this glue because we don't want to get that too much onto the next page. And here we have, here is another little white space. We have a few more little white spaces. So I again have these from Petals and Parchment that I'm just going to trim and probably just do a border. I can see that I'm not cutting it straight, so I should have just used my trimmer. And after this is going to be a whole project that's done. So it took us, what, almost 2 hours to do a full project. And I do realize that this is sideways. I'm not that worried about it. If you're really fussy about the directional, you can put the kind of the border how you want. And then I'm just going to leave this right here. I'm probably not going to leave that as a tuck spot, just because it's such a little spot. And in my other signature that I have here for this paper bag journal, I did leave it as a tuck spot, and I think it's a little bit too flimsy for when we're tucking things in and out of. I'm going to probably ink this up a little bit though. You know what we could do, because we have some of the paper that's left over, just kind of glue this on here. I have a pencil mark on it though. I want to take my mono eraser and get that off. And the mono eraser works like a dream. This is not the mono sand. It's just the mono. Excuse me. I need to take a sip of my drink. I always have like a fun little refreshment off to the side when I'm crafting. Do you guys do the same thing? What do you guys drink? I have a Poppi. Normally I have tea, or kind of just depends on the time of the day. Okay. So now this kind of thickens it up just a little bit. It's not the straightest. Actually, it's not really straight at all, is it? So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to keep trimming, and then it's going to trim down to where it's like nothing. So I'm going to distract that. And so I'm just going to dot, dot, not a lot here. And I'm going to put something kind of busy inside of it. Or I'll ink up a lot around it. Let's see what we have that we could slide in and out. Some glue everywhere. We have more stickers. I think as my hands are dirty from the ink. From the ink and everything, right? That was meant to be a tuck spot, but you know what? We're just going to kind of put that over this. And let's put another little sticker on the top. Let's see. Surrender, Dorothy. That's really cute. That was fun in the movie, right? Let's do that. And we'll just kind of stick that off to the side like that. Okay, but I think our brush is pretty much clean. I just kind of wanted to knock back some of that white space. There we go. And kind of cover up a little bit of the mess I made. There we go. We have another white space right there. Let's see, what do we want to put? We want to put more little tuck spots in the back. I'm having fun using these stickers from this. What we could do, we don't want to put white on white necessarily. I have scrap, there we go. I was like, I know I have scrap paper next to me. Just going to put this right here, and then I'm going to fussy cut around it. So we're almost finished with our last minute Christmas gift, which is the paper bag journal. I haven't been really following along if there's any comments, so that's my apologies. But if you want to let us know in the comments, I'm glad that you're here. What's your favorite last minute Christmas gift? We may not have like a favorite thing to do last minute because that's just stressful in itself. But taking some time out for self-care, for the crafting, and taking some time for ourselves and giving somebody something that they'll enjoy, to me, that's enjoyable. So I like to make something that's really personalized to the person. Oops, I'm just knocking stuff off. I like to make something that's fairly personalized to the person. And I think I'm going to glue this actually and make this a tuck spot. So that's probably one of my favorite last minute Christmas gifts. And if you want to go rewatch from the beginning, I did have some last minute Christmas gifts ideas at the beginning of the video. So we have that, and it just took us about 2 hours to do a paper bag journal. I could do some stenciling, might be kind of fun right here. Where did my... I've kind of crafted myself out of a spot, but I do I thought maybe we could do the rainbow stencil again, but I do not know where I put that rainbow stencil. So I'm gonna look through here really, really quick and then see if I can find that, because if not, then I'm just gonna do this bubble stencil. I have things every which way because I have, let's see, let's tuck this into my journal I'm working with. I actually do not, oh, it's right next to me. I set it aside so I wouldn't lose it. Isn't that fun? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the rainbow stencil just to kind of put down here. I might just stick with the blue because we don't, you know, this is just kind of like a background, if you will. Like, not everything needs to be bright and out there, and not everything needs to be in the forefront. Okay. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday, the last Sunday before Christmas. And, okay, and then that's just kind of where I'm going to leave it. I say as I ink up a little bit more. Now, if you notice, this stencil is from scrapbook.com. It's a lot of fun. It has the hearts in it. So it kind of picked up on the hearts a little bit more than it did on my last page that I did. So that's a lot of fun. Okay, so I haven't done a whole lot of pockets in this journal, I just realized. Let's end it with a pocket. And it's not going to be like a real like deep pocket, right? But this person is not much of a memorabilia keeper as much as I am. But they could still slide things in here. So I'm just going to do the dot, dot, not a lot method again because I'm stuck with this big glue bottle. And there we go. Let's see. I was going to look for my little rag, but I don't like my fingers to be all sticky because then I guck up everything else on my project. Okay. And so as we can see, stick this right in. Something could stick right in there. I'm going to leave it at that. I think there's a lot going on in this journal. And then I am going to, and this is going to be a big journal too, just like my first one that I did. My first very ever one that I did. And what we're going to do is, I think I have extra. No, it's black. Oh, I was like, I think I have extra, so I don't need to open up a new one. But that's not true. So this took us 2 hours, this project. This is a full journal, decorated and all. That took us 2 hours. That's actually not bad on the crafty scale, right? That's not bad. Okay. I am just going to make a mess of this. And then hope for the best later. I'm going to put never mind. I am going to do this before I put my signatures in. Okay? And I don't want to do it so tight that nothing's going to fit in here. But I do want to cut this. And I am going to cut too much. And then I'm going to round up the rest of this and put it in my stash for another project. I'm just going to tie this. This isn't going to tie too tight. Somebody's at my door, but it's a delivery. They ring the bell as a courtesy. I do a farm box, and I don't do like the subscription necessarily. I'm gonna get some beads. We're gonna do some beads, I think. I don't get the subscription necessarily, but I do it like once every other month or something, and I did one this time for Christmas. So that's what that is, getting delivered to me. Super excited, local produce. I love it. It lasts longer than my stuff in the grocery store, and it's not sprayed with pesticides. So that's what I really like about that. Okay. And then we see how we just tuck this in. Okay. And that's in. And I am going to do some beading right here. I am right at 2 hours. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but what we're going to do, let me see if I have the beads right next to me. I do have a jar of beads here and here, and I have more behind me, so I don't know. I wanted to try to find some, oops, I have the red ones. That's what I was trying to find. So I have those. So I'm probably just going to put those on here. So let's see if we have time for that, because I do have to get the farm box that just came to my door, and I've been on here 2 hours. That's a lot of your time. I apologize. I am really not going to put anything on the front or the back of it to decorate, because I think I've done a lot of decorating on the inside. I think it really speaks for itself. I do need to glue a little bit more in here, but I will do that after I'm done with the beading. And then what I'll do is I'll clip this here, and I'll probably clip that there for like a day or so. So like tomorrow I'll take it out. Okay, so we have our paper bag journal, and let's open it. And we have a pocket in here, and this is going to be the Wizard of Oz journal, because our recipient is going to go see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, just like I did, and that's a journal I've been working on. I'll be finishing that journal up on my New Year's Eve live stream-a-thon. I did just leave this all white. I don't really normally like doing that, but so let's not, I guess. I think I skipped over it. Like I forgot, basically. We'll just kind of zhuzh it up really quick like that. There we go. There we go. So now it's not completely white, but okay. And so we have some tuck spots, and I did make this a flow journal, and I sewed the signatures in before I put this in the elastic, so each individual signature is sewn in to itself. And oops, didn't I have, yeah, I was like, wait, didn't I have a little thing that I made to go right here, so she'll know that it's a pocket. So you can add, take away. I could put more signatures in here if I wanted to at like a later date. This could be as big or as little as we want it to be. These journals are so much fun because they could be as simple or as intricate as we want them to be. We have plenty of journaling space. We have plenty of picture and memorabilia space. These are just so much fun. This is the first type of journal I ever made. And so I really kind of like coming back to making these smaller paper bag journals. And this is going to be a tuck spot as well. I don't necessarily have anything to tuck in there to show her that that's going to be a tuck spot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip right here. So she'll know. That way she'll know. And then there's the end of the journal. And then I just have the elastic here. I'm going to put some beading on here. And then I am going to kind of glue this in with my PVA glue. And that will be the end of that. So I do need to go out and get my farm box before any stray kitties try to get into that. And I hope you guys have a fabulous holiday season. I will be back here on the 30th with Terry's Crafty Christmas collab. That'll be my last one in her Crafty Christmas. And then the 31st, I will be here live 3 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Raul's Stream-a-thon. So that's through Raul Shorts, and I'll link all that below. But that will be right here on my channel. And that is about what we did on our live today. And then if you want to go back and watch the replay at the very beginning, if you missed anything, you can kind of see my great last minute gifting ideas for maybe the non-creator that enjoys the art. I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and do not forget to take some self-care time. And I'm going to try to gracefully end my live. I've not ever done that before because I do have to take my phone that I film on out of my stand that I do have. So that does get a little bit tricky for me, but I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. I'll see you soon.